cryptocurrency. Crypto is a short for cryptocurrencies or digital currencies. And you've all heard of things like Bitcoin. These are the instruments we're talking about here. So cryptocurrencies are a form of digital or virtual currencies that can be used to purchase goods, exchange for other cryptocurrencies, or even savings. Like there are people who've been saving through Bitcoins. Like you make money, you convert it to Bitcoin and you keep it. And of course, Bitcoin has been rising. Like in the year 2021, Bitcoin, one Bitcoin was going for 50,000 USD. So you can imagine somebody who had changed his money in Kenya into Bitcoins. He just needed one Bitcoin to make $50,000, which of course when you convert into Kenya, you multiply by 140. The rate today, as I do this lesson, the rate is 140. So 140 times the $50,000, you can imagine this is more than 5 million. Yeah, this is more than 5 million Kenya shillings, actually to the tune of 6-7 million Kenya shillings. Just one Bitcoin, and there are people who bought quite a number of Bitcoins at that time. So Bitcoin is one of the cryptocurrencies. We also have another one called Ethereum. Ethereum is another type of cryptocurrency. We also have another one called Dogecoin. Those of you who know a company called Tesla. Tesla is a company that majors in production of electric-driven vehicles, and these vehicles use electricity or solar energy. They don't use fuel. So this company is owned by somebody called Elon Musk. Elon Musk is currently the richest businessman in the world. I think he has passed Bill Gates, the Microsoft owner. So Elon Musk at some point was very interested in Dogecoin. Okay, and also something else to note is that Elon Musk at some point in his company, to purchase these electric vehicles, he was accepting Bitcoin. You would buy vehicles with Bitcoin. But at some point it was said that he's no longer doing that, so like the price of Bitcoin just dropped drastically. I'm just teaching you the basics of the Forex market, how it works. Those are the things to be listening to be noting, that's that kind of a thing. So that is that for cryptocurrency. In a nutshell, that is what cryptocurrency is. And of course, when you open an account, when you reach the level where I show you how to open accounts with brokers and all that, then you'll get to know, you get to see these instruments live in the broker's account, including the cryptos. Now, not all brokers offer cryptocurrency for trading, but all brokers do offer currencies and indices for trading. Okay, fine. Now, another instrument is called synthetic indices. So this means these are not the normal indices which you are going to look at. These are indices that are extreme, these are extreme indices that imitate the real world market. So they are generated by machines, like and they imitate what is happening in the real world, so that if there is a panic and people are buying something or selling something, then this synthetic index would imitate that activity or that result that is going on. Yeah, so they imitate the real world market movement. However, with a little twist here, they aren't affected by global events. They are not affected by global events. Not that they are not affected by global events, but these indices are strictly based on random number generators. They are strictly based on random number generators, and they have constant volatility, and they are free of liquidity and market risks. They are free of liquidity and market risks. So you can Google around for synthetic indices and just get to understand a little bit more, but basically in a nutshell, that's what they are. They are different from the normal indices. They imitate market activity, and they are generated by machines, like random number generators. Yeah, so they do have constant volatility, like we said. Yeah, they're very volatile, by the way. So like there are 5 major categories of synthetic indices, and they are further classified into different types of indices depending on their characteristics. So some categories of synthetic indices are volatility indices. Volatility means something that is moving very fast, or measuring how volatile the markets are, how much momentum is moving in the markets, the movements in the markets, the mood of the market, how volatile is it, is there liquidity, is there movement, that kind of thing. Then these are volatility indices for synthetic indices. Then we also have crash and boom indices, or just crash indices. And then we have jump indices, and we also have range breaker indices. These are synthetic indices we are looking at, and we're looking at categories. So you can just Google more about it, and if you're interested, you get to understand them more, because these are different type of instrument in the market, and you could have an interest in it. Now the interesting thing about these markets is that they move the same way. Once you develop a strategy, you can trade in a market, using that trading strategy, because you're either buying or selling. Then we have the normal indices. Yeah, we have the normal indices. Remember, we said the synthetic indices just imitate the real world market movement. Just that, that's what they do, and they're generated randomly. Then the indices, the normal indices, are a measure of the price performance of a group of shares from an exchange. Those are the normal indices. They measure the price performance for a group of shares in a certain exchange. Like we have Nairobi, the Nairobi Securities Index. It picks like all the securities, all the share companies in the market, and it creates an index of it. Basically, it is taking an average of how these companies are performing and graphing it, and that's what you trade as an index or an index. Now we also have examples are other places. We have FTSE. We have the FTSE 100. This one is in London Stock Exchange. So FTSE 100 measures the top 100 companies in the London Stock Exchange. That's just an example, and there are many other indices. So trading indices enables you to get exposure to an entire economy. We're not talking about synthetic indices, we're talking about indices, because indices measure the price performance in different number of share companies. You know, like we've just said, in Nairobi, in Kenya, we would have Nairobi Stock Exchange Index. You know, it would be measuring all the stocks and their strength, their movement. In UK, you have FTSE 100. It measures the top 100 companies' performance, how the shares are performing, and it graphs it in a graph, and it is traded as an index by itself, FTSE 100. There's also another one called US 100. US 100 is another name for it is NASDAQ. We also have US 30. Another name for US 30 you've heard out there is called Dow Jones. Dow Jones is another example. Yeah, so they are measuring the economy. Like the Dow Jones is the largest, you know, like it moves very fast because it measures the top 30 economy companies in the US that are in the stock exchange, how they are moving. And you know, you can imagine top 30 companies in a country like the US. This must be a very big mover, because it tells how the US economy is performing. Okay, so just a little bit more, so that's for indices. Every country of course has got its own index measure. So we said we have NASDAQ. This one is in the US, and it's a very big move also. In fact, I trade NASDAQ myself. Then we also have SP 500. This one measures the top 500 companies in the US, and some of them are from NASDAQ and US 30 and the Dow Jones. So some companies in the Dow Jones, you find they're inside the SP 500. The SP 500 is just another share index, just like the NASDAQ and the Dow Jones. And you can choose to trade whichever that you want, yeah? Because NASDAQ will be focusing on the top 500 largest companies in the US stock market, yeah? And that's not something to joke with, you know, like 500 companies inside here. So this could also be a very good instrument to see how it works, how it moves, and get to understand it. So this is it for indices. These are the few examples. Every country, of course, has got its own index. Of course, we have even Johannesburg Exchange, of course, also has got its own index. Of course, when you talk of big top large companies in US 30 here, which is Dow Jones, of course, we are talking of a company like Microsoft. Some of the largest companies that have changed how technology, how people do things. We also have Tesla, like we just mentioned. I just mentioned to you Tesla making electric vehicles, and now trying to make journeys to the space as other products for itself. Of course, we also have Google here. So Google being another big company. We also have Amazon, you know. So these companies are the companies you would find in something like an index like US 30. You'd also find them in NASDAQ. You'd also find them in SP 500 combined. Yeah, they'll be combined there. Not all of them are in. Not all companies in NASDAQ will be found in Dow Jones. but most companies in Nasdaq and Dow Jones will be found in SP500. SP500. In fact, an index like SP500 most of the time is just moving up, because these are sensitive index. Like you'd find retirement, pension schemes investing there and all that, and you don't want to see something like that dropping. So most of the indices, on a nutshell, you find they are going up, most of them. Why? Because you see, they are measuring the performance of companies, and companies, some are performing well, some are not performing very well, but the goal of every company is to perform well and be in profit. So you find because of that, then the indices most of the time would be on an upward spiral. Yes. So viewers, once more we come to the end of this lesson, and thank you for taking your time to watch our videos, our lessons, and please feel free to refer the lessons, share them to your friends, people you think need Forex trading training. Let them attend our lessons. They are free, they are all there, you've seen them. You're not paying a dime for them. And as always, we promise to take you through a good Forex journey to profitability. Keep following us, and as usual, if you have not subscribed, please hit the red button at the bottom right. You click on it once, and then it will bring the subscribe button. Then you just click the subscribe button after that, so that you can encourage us and give us the morale and encouragement to keep producing even better videos for you. If you have any suggestions, feel free to put the comments, and we are going to be replying to the comments. If you want to contact us directly for any maybe personal one-on-one, feel free also to WhatsApp us on the number at the bottom of the screen. Otherwise, it's been a pleasure, and thank you.